Hello, everybody. Welcome with another edition of the Wilde Cabin Podcast. Man, it's good to be back. It is very, very good to be back. This is my first day of recording back from personal events that has happened in my life. So right now, it is every other week that a new episode will be going live. But it probably will not be like that forever. I'm shooting for every week, but we'll see. Hopefully everybody has been doing well and everybody has been enjoying the first episode of the podcast. Let me know if you like it on my media at Mrjoewilde. DM me, let me know if you like it or it's crap. I would really, really love your opinion on that. But nevertheless, most likely episode 3, there will be a special guest, hopefully, and I'm going to take it from there. Today's main topic is sort of going to be a mixture of two of them. It's going to be feeling like a failure, being a failure, slash collectibles, because in my personal life experience, those two have always been together. But let's not get right into that right away. So far, if you followed me on Twitch, everything seems to be a little bit better. And we're playing currently Super Mario Paper Origami King for the Switch. And then the celebration I did want to bring up is we finally have a Wii. I could finally play Wii games. I know I don't emulate if you are a nerd, but we play with motion controls and everything, so make sure you check that out. But lately I have been feeling like a failure for the last few months, if not a year at this point. You like that segue? I do. But it's been really hard. I know a lot of people struggle with this feeling and they don't really know how to do it. If you're younger or older, going through the age of, oh shit, what am I gonna do with my life? And you just don't know. You don't want to let anybody down, yet you want to be yourself, and it's a very hard pill to swallow. And I personally want to say you're not alone. You're not alone, and never feel like you're alone in that regards, because everybody felt like that at one point. It's only natural. And if you don't, good for you. But the struggle is real with feeling like a failure because you just don't know what to do. For my personal experience, I felt a lot of failures in my life, from the military, from Twitch streaming, to baseball. But baseball, when I was very, very young, and I couldn't hit the fucking ball at all. But man, I had a great arm. I could throw that all the way from left field where the shitty people play, and then all the way to home plate. I'm not even joking. I could still do that today. But the military, even though I served quite a while, my knee gave out from a prior injury that they cleared me for, but one day my right knee just blew out, and it was hard. It was very, very hard, feeling like, oh fuck, like what am I gonna do? And then you just get negative thoughts, be like, oh man, I realize now, but at the time, some things are just like out of your control and you can't do anything whatsoever. So when my knee gave out, I'm just like, oh man, it's all my fault. What the fuck am I gonna do? Oh no, like this was my plan. This was my career. And when it gave out, basically, long story short, the military was just like, we don't want you anymore. Like that, this is where the dirty penny comes in, or the worthless penny, or the broken penny that I say a lot on stream, how I'm feeling. I just feel like a fucking broken penny and nobody wants you. That's literally how I felt right after that moment. waiting for my papers to go home, and I didn't even want to go home at that point, and it was just very, very hard, where it's just like, man, well, okay, nobody fucking wants me, and I don't know what to do. And then I had several weeks and months of depression. I believe it was 8 months where I just didn't want to get up, unmotivated, and it was just distraught. It was just so sad, where I didn't know what to do. And that's where the part of feeling like a failure came in, because what do you do at that aspect? Like, what do you do? This was your career. This is what you wanted to do. And guess what? Life said, go fuck yourself. You're done. You're done. And it's a very, very, very hard pill to swallow. But that was a few years ago at this point, and I overcome that, where sometimes you just gotta see where life takes you. And that's where I had to do it. And then a few years later, well, not a few years later, a few months after that, after my depression, I started streaming on Twitch, and it's definitely has its ups and downs for sure. And I know a lot of people via the streamer world have gone and left, and just because, with COVID, so many people are streaming. And what makes me different? Nothing. Like, I realize that, like, I am just literally an average Joe, but I have a great community. And do I think I'll ever make it? I'm at 4 years at this point. I don't know. I really don't know. And that's also the mindset that I have, where I'm just like, well, if I fail, I fail, and that's okay. Because unlike this with the military, I never processed, oh man, I gave it a good college try and I failed. No, it wasn't like that. It was just like I tried my hardest, but then the world just said, go fuck yourself, and then I had to leave. Unlike here, where it's also out of my hands via the viewership and the followers I get, but I gotta stay motivated. And sometimes it's so hard to do that. So this is what I believe. It's okay to fail. It's simply put, it's okay to fail. Honestly, it took me a long time to do that, but as long as you keep on trying, and when you get to a certain point in life, you're just done. You're done. You either lost all motivation, you can't do the best anymore. And I don't want to hear, oh man, it's, you got to do the best you could do, and once you hit that point, you could break that limit. At certain points, you fucking can't. And the biggest thing that I didn't have for a while is support. This is what I would recommend, is if you're trying to either change your career, change your job, change something that just isn't working for you and you feel like a failure, have support. I didn't get support until later on, because with the military, with my scenario, I got a lot of battles, and guys around me, basically it's not affecting them, so they didn't really give a shit. It's sort of like, I'm moving one way, you're moving the other. Or it's like sort of school, how I put it, where you're getting held back and everybody else is graduating, and it's just like nobody fucking gives a shit. With Twitch, it's very cool, and it took me years to get that, where people out of the woodwork saying, oh, hey, I like you, or I don't want you to quit, I don't want you to give up. And it's a very nice small support system, which is really, really nice. But unfortunately, sometimes you just don't get that. I would say if you're in the teenage group of people that are feeling like a failure via with school, especially now, or a teenage job, talk to your parents. I know everybody was like, oh, talk to your parents. Oh, what the fuck? I don't want to do that. They don't understand me. Put it like this: they were like, I'm gonna be real. They were kids once too. They were kids too, and you know, my dad unfortunately is one of those scenarios where he didn't have support as a child, and I didn't have support as an adult when he's my father as well. So I get it. And if your parents aren't your option, go to your aunt and uncle. Go see a teacher. Go see a school therapist or a counselor. There are so many options that you don't even think of until sometimes it is too late. It could be too late, or it'll just stick with you day in, day out, and that's not good. I've been there, and every day you want to forget about it, and every day it doesn't fucking change. And in my personal experience, I just try to go to bed as early as possible for the next day to happen, and then I wake up and then I'm like, oh shit, I still feel this way, and I didn't know what to do. I had to cope with my own mechanisms, and I feel like everybody else copes. And just because you feel like that doesn't mean that it's bad, because it could give you the kick in the ass, or hypothetically the kiss on the lips to either change careers or change what you're doing. And that's it, you know. Where after the military, I found an amazing job as soldering, and I didn't have the qualifications, but you know, it is what it is, and I really like that. But unfortunately, my contract ran out and I'm not there anymore. But it gave me a full year to focus on Twitch, and for my personal experience, it is one of those things where, okay, I tried this, I didn't try this for a week. I didn't try this for a month. I tried this for a few years, and I'm happy where I'm at, but I know I could do better, but I can't do it alone. That's where I'm just like, and never ever blame the card on anybody else. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm blaming the community, or I'm blaming people that want to watch me. No, I blame myself. I blame myself because I could fucking stream longer, I could do this, and I could do this, but that's how I put it. There's either two ways of doing it. Improve on what you're doing if you're miserable, because there's always a way to improve, but there is a certain point, there is a certain brim when you look in the mirror and you think about it and you're like, I tried everything in my fucking power to do better. I think it's time to give up, and that's okay. Giving up, in my personal opinion, giving up is a failure once you don't try it. If you automatically say, hey, I quit, I don't like this, I'm done, then that's a problem. Because if you're doing that, you will never ever grow in that regard, and it could be a lot worse for you later on. But that's maybe we'll talk more about it as being a failure, but that is my personal experience with being a failure. And a lot of these topics I get from my media. So if you guys have Instagram or Twitter or Twitch itself, you know, talk about or shoot me a question. Hey, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? But another thing that I sort of want to merge on with this is collectibles. Collections, collectibles, hobbies, anything from cars to sneakers to trading cards. I really, really am one of those people that will collect things like Funko figures, my Spyro collection, collecting things for friends, just to sort of fill that void of, I gotta get my mind off feeling a failure. For the longest time, I had to do that just to cope. And I know a lot of people don't know, like that, or didn't know about that. But yeah, the reason why I started collecting is because I was either sad, or I knew I could get my hands on collectibles to not make me feel like a failure. So I'm like, okay, I'm a failure in that aspect, but I'm but I'm pretty good at this. So hey, if I merge them together, I'm not gonna feel like a failure. Yes and no. If I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I didn't feel like a failure like a lot of the time, but you know, if I couldn't magically get a figure, or I ship something out, or it got lost, and I'm just like, well, I'm a failure in both regards. I guess I'll just go fuck myself. But no, that's what I did, and unfortunately, I'm at the point where I did have to sell my Funkos because of COVID. Majority of them I kept some, but not as much as I did. And then my Spyro collection, I'm one of the top collectors in the fucking on God's green earth. So I'm very happy about that. I hope one day it keeps on growing, and then, you know, I don't want to do it to be the best. I want to do it because I love Spyro, and then I also am a completionist at this point. But I focus more on the main lines than anything. But I would definitely recommend a hobby. I know it sounds silly during this time, but if you have that feeling of feeling like a failure, I mean, I really don't. I think it worked out fine for me. I really did. I think it was my coping mechanism because I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't really do anything fun as an adult, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, to be fair, I didn't have an addiction to it, but once in a while I bought scratch off lottery tickets. And then when I started collecting like seriously, I'm just like, well, I don't really want to gamble anymore. So I sort of beat that, where I'm just like, well, I don't really want to spend money on a scratch off that I could potentially win something for the thrill. But I did that. I stopped doing that, and then I just focused on collecting, where I just felt happy. And then when I got something new, all the pain went away for that day. I know it sounds silly, but it was like my mini high where I got happy, and all that pain of feeling like a failure, feeling like a piece of shit, and, you know, hate myself. I'm very, very hard on myself. I'm better than I was, but having that feeling of, man, I suck. Like, I think the funniest thing is hate comments, for me at least. Like, I think they're fucked up, but everything people say, I already thought about it first on my end. I'll still never forget the best comment. One of the best comments I ever gotten was, "Man, your neck looks like a giraffe," and I'm like, "Holy fuck!" Like, that's hilarious to me. Like, real talk. I am that person where I will beat myself mentally to try to get better, as negative reinforcement, and I'm just like, I could do this now with the fucking hate of myself. But I just find it funny. Like, unfortunately, there are people that, you know, it really does hurt them mentally. It really does. But for me, I'm just like, I don't really give a shit. Like, I find it funny, obviously. I think people deserve to say how they feel, but never forget, I thought of it first with my end. Whatever you say, I will either laugh at, or I would be like, yep, I agree. I agree with your hate comment toward me. I suck. Yep. I know I do. like it's sort of like laughing off the pain, but I just find it funny. It'd be like, Joe, you fucking suck. Tell me something I don't know. I don't know. But I think feeling like, I don't even think, I don't want to say the feeling, oh, if you're feeling sad, but it's mainly feeling like a failure. Like, I do want to clarify, because yes, you could fail a test, but you just don't feel it. Like, boom, hits you right in the chest. Be like, until you really read the paper, because you're either gonna have two attitudes about it. Oh, I don't give a shit. Like, oh, I'm a failure. What else is new? Or it's gonna hit you so much harder, be like, I deserve fucking better than this. And though this is mainly for those people be like, I fucking deserve better than this. You know, it wasn't my fault. I'm disoriented. I'm distraught, and I don't know what to do. Because if you could believe it, I failed a lot of tests. And when I was a youngin or a kid, I didn't really give a shit. I really didn't give a shit because I really had no ceiling to break through. You know, when I was in school, I got misdiagnosed on meds, and then I really never had the encouragement to do any better than what I did until I hit 16. And I'm like, well, I guess I gotta give a shit now. And then everybody was like, oh my god, he's fucking smart. I'm like, no, I'm not smart at all. I'm a dumb fuck. Oh, actually, I am smart. You just never believed in me. But it was sort of those people where, you know, if you are feeling like that as well, because I have met so many kids, you know, when I was in school that had the same parents didn't give a shit, teachers didn't give a shit, and then later in college they're just like, well, prove those fuckers wrong. And I knew how to work the system pretty good. I really did. I hate to admit it, but working the system was pretty easy. But that's a different for a different time if people suggest that. But I can't do the fucking sneaky ways. But you know, I know the feelings, you know, even when you get that F or that D, that D, and you're just like, man, I tried, or I knew I could do better. It's a different feeling than constantly failing and constantly trying. It's a totally different world, because when you try and then when you get an F, or you don't fucking study and then you get an F, it hits different ways. I wouldn't say try it, because unfortunately I think that's a good topic for a different time as well, because I know during internet hours, aka online school for high schoolers and college people, a lot of research says people aren't learning anything. And I feel bad, because two things are going to happen. They're either going to be held back, they're going to be dropped from the course, or everybody is just going to get that curve of a grade so everybody could pass, so the teacher looks good. It's a very, very fucked up feeling, if I'm going to be honest with you, and it's really, really disappointing that the world has really come to that, where there's nothing anybody could do. There's really not, unfortunately, because is it the smart decision to come back in class? Probably not. Like, I know there's some schools doing that, but I don't think it's the smart. But who am I to say? I mean, I was that kid where I talked about it a few times on stream, where if they told me, hey, you have to fucking do online school from home, I would have been left alone as like a 13-year-old, like fucking 12 to 17 or whatever. I would have fucking dicked around on my PlayStation 2 and played Vice City. You know, I wouldn't really give a shit, and I really sympathize with the people that are doing it, because I'm not that type of guy. Or type of person in general, where okay, teach, I'll get this to you, because first of all, I'm a visual learner, plus I need to be there. You know, if I have questions, I would always ask, you know, and it's so difficult, because I've literally seen professors and teachers like mute everybody's mic and basically say, oh yeah, fucking shut up, and don't talk to me even if you have a question. So you gotta wait until a lesson or something, and it's just, I feel so sad for them. I really do. But don't give up. Don't give up on if you're feeling sad on that or feeling like a failure, because unfortunately, it's not your fault. It's definitely not your fault on that. It's technically nobody's fault, because everybody, in my opinion, is trying to do their best, like the government, the teachers, the students, but the pandemic really sort of wiped the ass of everybody that gave a shit, if I'm gonna be honest. And even the smartest people that are in school, you can bet your sweet ass they're suffering, because it's a hard time out there. It really is. So for all those students that are listening, man, I feel fucking bad for you. I really, really do. And I hope you're well. I hope you're staying safe out there, and keep your head up high. Please do. That goes for everybody. Please keep your head up high, because I've definitely also done this very, very recently, where it's not the effect of, hey, be positive, things will happen to you. But I feel like in my life personally, if you're negative things will happen to you. I've never seen a happy guy win $1 million in my fucking life, but I've seen a sad person get hit by a car, and that sad person was me. But I found that funny. But it is one of those things where, for me at least, it is so hard to keep a level head, or be positive about something. I really, really think it's extremely hard to do that. And I don't know if there's anybody else like me in that regard, because I think I'm just fucking insane at some points, where I'm just like, well, okay, my friend's package may have gotten lost. I think somebody stole it. I think they opened it and they're keeping them for themselves. And in reality, it could just be like, oh, no fucking, nobody fucking scanned the goddamn package. It's like, oh no, I'm late for work 5 minutes. Oh shit, I'm gonna get fired, and this is my first time. You know, that is, I have realized I have to take a step back and reevaluate my priorities, because I have other shit going on in my life, and I don't really fucking want to deal with this bullshit right now. And I don't think a lot of people do that, in my opinion. I think a lot more people, including myself, need to step back and reevaluate their fucking priorities, and sort of get things online, or on their head right, because I got a lot of shit going on, especially during COVID, especially with my heart, my cardiologist, Twitch, and so many other things, where I'm just like, well, all right, is this really that important to stress over? And I was talking to somebody earlier. I stress the small things, and I don't know why, because it's not a fucking big deal. But I have been known where to have mini outbursts on small fucking things that are very inconsequential. Like, oh man, fucking Hulu's not working. I'm gonna storm out of the room because I'm angry that Hulu isn't working, because I just didn't take the time to either breathe or evaluate my priorities. And I'm just like, and I know there's other people out there. I know there's other people, but I also believe, in my regard, people just don't mind their own business anymore. People just fucking, what's your business? None. Like, I'm not the asshole to be like, oh, I don't want to tell you because it's none of your business, or I don't want to tell you because these are my problems. I don't want you involved. But I have the crux of being honest, and if you ask me a question, I will answer that question. And I bamboozled my morals, I guess, because if I don't want to get you involved, and then you ask me the question, what's wrong, I'm gonna tell you what's wrong, because obviously there's something wrong here, and either you give a shit and you asked me, or I told you not knowing that you will involve yourself. So it's sort of like a double-edged sword with me. So basically, never ask what's wrong with me. Joe, what the fuck's wrong with you? Too much. That's gonna be my answer from now on. But I've definitely have learned to keep a positive head on my shoulders regarding now. But even if things go awry, even though if things go sad or bad, I try to keep a level head. Hell, I've been known to be a positive outlook where I don't really think it's positive, but I'm like, hey, if something happens to me, at least it didn't happen to anybody else. And they're like, wow, that's a really positive attitude. Or I just fucking hate myself. Like, nobody thinks about it like both ways. Like, wow, you're such an armor, and like you're shining in armor. A fucking dull armor. I don't know what you want me to say about that. But I don't know. I definitely believe in people supporting other people, but I know from personal experience people just want to stir up shit, and I think a lot of other people need to mind their own business. And people have to understand where if like, obviously there's asking somebody what's wrong, but there's also sort of asking for your own regard, if that makes sense, like a shit starter. And if you don't know what a shit starter is, shit starters are people that will cause problems in your life trying to be your friend, and then later on they'll tell somebody else your problem, and then they'll be like, oh man, did you hear fucking this? And I'm like, oh god. That's why I basically had like 2 friends in high school, because I was at that point where I'm just like, well, I'm not going to tell anybody shit, because it's not like I trust you guys, but I don't want this fucking shit thrown at me. But there was a lot of gossips in Arizona, and then I moved back to Jersey, and I was the odd man out in senior year, and then I'm just like, well, back to square one. I'm not telling anybody fucking shit my business. But another thing is, this is probably going to be the end topic. But we'll see. Know your true support. I have struggled with that for many years, and sometimes it's as simple as, oh shit, my true friends are right in front of me and I didn't realize that. Slash, oh shit, the person that I should be with is right in front of me. That gets overlooked a lot. But it took me a long time to really figure out, oh shit, these are my true supports, these are my true friends. And it took me a while, because unfortunately with Twitch and media, people will like your work but they won't fucking like you, or they'll watch your content and not like you. So it was very hard for me to realize, oh okay, wow, these people are here for me. Or then people are just like, oh, I don't talk to this person, I don't see this person. And that's okay. Like, I'm not saying every follower is a support, you know, they want to support when they can, but it's also to the point when you have media and they sort of just want to pimp themselves out on said media, and it's not like mutual. Yeah, then it's just like, oh, they're there for their own gain. Like, I get it. If you're big, you're huge, you don't really give a shit. But with a small community, and then, you know, without asking or anything, they just post they just post their own shit. That's not how you do it. That's not how you fucking do it. It's sort of like, if you can't really support your each other, then there's no fucking point. For example, I really thought I had this close friend for about like 10 years. This was a real life person. Not gonna say their name, but basically when I moved back to Jersey my senior year of high school, that's when my car accident happened, where I was walking to school and my dad was just like, I'm not fucking driving you 2 miles, I gotta get to work. So I basically got up at like 5, and then I had to walk myself to school around like 5:30. and it was like a over 2 mile walk. I know, it's fucking insane. And then one day, probably like a weekend in school, or like a month or so, I get hit by a car while walking to school, and this 67-year-old man had his phone on his fucking lap, and he was speeding 35 and a 15, and he didn't fucking see me, and I went flying. And I was in the hospital the next day, when I woke up, and one of my friends that I thought was a friend saw me, and I don't know if he was either late for school or what, I don't know, but that day he tried to reach out, but of course I was unconscious, and I see him in the hospital, and for like 2 minutes, and then I never see him again. I never ever see him again. And then I realized, oh fuck, he didn't want to be seen with me because he joined the senior football team. And that was like a real fucking kick in the balls, because I knew this fucker for 10 years. I wish him all the best, but it was like a hurt where I'm just like, oh, I thought we were gonna like stay in contact and shit. And it was really hard, and it didn't hit me until later on in life, where I'm just like, I'm looking at my phone and my contacts, where I'm like, oh, who can I wish or text Merry Christmas or phone call or some shit, and then I look at my phone and I'm just like, oh fuck, I remember them. You know, I don't really delete phone contacts. I'm that person where I have so little where I don't want to delete anybody. It's sad but true. But it definitely, you need to evaluate either a friend test or fucking take a step back, where who's my real support, you know, via your work, via your school. You know, my biggest supports were fucking teachers. Teachers were the fucking shit, and that's why I try to appreciate teachers, where, especially for me, they helped me with my schoolwork. They knew that I was trying, and you know, they're older, they're more mature, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with these fucking rugrats. And that's when I was a rugrat. That's when I was in my teens, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this fucking shit. But it was really cool. But yeah, later on in life, especially probably when you're 21, it sort of goes both ways, where you sort of hit a point when you're 21 where, oh shit, I could go out with people as adults. Like, as an adulthood, people are getting pregnant, people are going to parties, getting married. You're either going to be one of those people, or you're going to be like me and just a fucking loser at 25, not having a care in the world, and just like being alone all the time. And it's very hard to see like who's going to be there if I call them. And it goes to the support factor, where if it's not like there, I think there are different types of friends via best friends, where you guys support each other in one way or another, you know, activities, socializing, relationships, etc. And then there are just like these people that are just lingering to see what the fuck you're up to. Like like it could be family members, it could be friends that come out of buttfuck nowhere, be like, oh hey, I remember you, remember when you did that one thing and I was there? Be like, no, I fucking don't. I don't remember you. Like, I'm that piece of shit where I'll call them out, like, I need some license and registration, please. I don't know who you are. Like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Please don't ever contact me again. But I mean, I think with a good support system, you may still feel like a failure, but with that support that you'll have, you will build that ball of trust and love and support, and they could potentially fuel your fire again and be like, you know what, let me do this one last try. one last college try and I'll knock it right out of the fucking park. Or they'll just be like, fucking, I don't give a shit, you do you, bud. And I'm like, oh, okay. But that is the biggest crux where I think you need support. But also, if you're either gonna give support or you're gonna take support, or both. But you could be introduced to people like me where they want to be left alone, and I have been like that for a while. But some people have definitely broken that mold, and they're just like, oh, I'm coming in anyway, fuckface. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, I guess I got to tell you my problems now. If you hear that, I don't know. And this is coming from a person that says, yeah, I want to be left alone. Because if people get too close, you're going to be afraid. That person is going to be afraid to hurt you. And, you know, you may get hurt with my bullshit. You may not. I don't want to take that risk because I have personally grown fond of you. And I don't really want to tell you my problems. That could be one example. Second, we feel very insecure if people get close. If people get close and start feeling that they care after so long of not feeling like we care, like we felt care before, we just get anxiety and we're just like, like people fucking care. Like it took me a hot fucking while to realize, oh fuck, people give a shit. But be warned, there are people like that, and they will eventually open up to you and realize, oh, okay, this could be somebody I trust later on. It's sort of like the feeling out factor where, like I said, some people are better alone at that current state, or like wait a day, and some people need more support than others. But please, also, this is another thing that I want to talk about. There is something called fucking milking it. And I think everybody has had that person where they're just like, man, I'll do something if I don't get support. Those are the people that, I hate to say it, they're either going to be truthful or they're pulling your fucking string like Woody. This is unfortunately common over the internet because you're either not there to show it. But especially with internet friends, I think we've all met that fucking person. Several people. If I don't get fucking support, I'm gonna jump off a cliff and do a backflip and then land on my back. Okay. You know, you could only do so much, and then that stress moves on to that person that they're talking to. And you gotta realize, male or female, they could be milking it. And that is a pure fact. Unfortunately, in my mind, and I think this should be known, the person's gonna do something on their discretion. If you're not there and they're gonna blame you for doing something, no. Those are the people, those are the toxicity that you don't fucking need at all. All right, those could be the people that are bad for your health, and you're like, man, why am I so sad? That person could be one of the reasons why you're feeling shitty, because you don't need to be threatened by talking with them or something else. You know, there are people that just live off the fucking support off of people 24/7, and if you want to deal with that, that's all you. But like I said, you got to step back, reevaluate your priorities. You got to reevaluate who's really there at the end of the day. And it's hard. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but like I said, you gotta take a seat back. You have to, because if you don't, then you're just like, well, I just wasted a year and a year of my life talking to this person, and then, oh fuck, they just ghosted me, or they just blamed me for something that they did to themselves. That's not right. That's not fucking right at all. So, like I said, try to be more positive, reevaluate. It's okay to be a failure, and get a fucking hobby. Unless if it's Spyro. If it's Spyro the Dragon Collectibles, you send that shit to my P.O. box and I will cherish it forever. I'm not fucking joking. I'm not fucking joking right now. But you know, that is I think it worked for me. I've never taken medication to feel like a failure, because that could be another episode, because I had my struggles with medication, and it fucked me up royally. But get a hobby, get something in your experience that can help you, and know something you're good at. Because if you know something you're good at and you're going through a struggle and tribulation at work or school, and then when you have some free time, do that hobby, you're gonna feel a lot better about yourself. You really are. And I believe in you. I simply believe that you could get through anything that you put your mind through, and you're fucking strong. I'm telling you that right now. If you don't believe you're strong, I'll never let you forget that you're strong. And I don't think that was a bad podcast. I don't think. What did you think of the podcast? Let me know. That's almost an hour. That's almost a fucking hour. I'm pretty proud about myself. Like I said, hopefully soon we will get some co-hosts. And if you like the podcast, make sure you're followed on YouTube, Mrjoewilde. And if you're listening on Spotify, Stitcher, or anything else where all major podcasts are, please make sure you follow. And my media on Instagram, Twitter, anything that you could think of, Mrjoewilde. And lastly, my main form of contact is twitch.tv/Mrjoewilde. And I can't wait to see you all there. I love you all tremendously. Let me know what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. And thank you all for listening. Hope you're happy, because you made me happy. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye. Mwah.